Pastor Jay, and it's Saturday. And I wanted to offer you just something by way of a devotion. Saturday is kind of an interesting day in this 3-day period of Christ's death and resurrection. Of course, we celebrated the fact that he died with our Good Friday service. And then he goes into the tomb. And then, of course, Sunday, the third day, he raises from the dead. But what about Saturday? What might we just kind of focus our hearts on here? Well, it would be this. It would be the fact that Jesus' burial is important. It's a fact, and it's important, and it's something that we see mentioned multiple times in the Scriptures. For instance, Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15, "For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures." In Acts 13:29, Paul is preaching, and he says this: "When they had carried out all that was written concerning him," meaning Jesus, "they took him down from the cross, and they laid him in a tomb." So again, a very specific mention of him being laid in a tomb. In Romans 6:4, we see burial even linked with baptism, where Paul talks about, "Therefore we have been buried with him," with Christ, through baptism into death. Now, why is this important? I'm going to give you 3 kind of key reasons why it's important. Because Jesus' burial, first off, it gives proof that he was indeed the Messiah. In Isaiah 53:9, it talks about the fact that his grave was assigned with wicked men, yet he was with a rich man in his death. And you go, well, that sounds kind of strange. Which is it? I mean, how could both be true? And yet they are, because he had to die the death of the wicked, though he was righteous, right? He was put on trial. He was even declared guilty, even though he wasn't, and he was sentenced to death as a criminal. And yet, Joseph of Arimathea went and requested the body and took Jesus' body down off the cross and buried him in his own tomb, Joseph being a rich man. Matthew 12 and verse 40 is an interesting one. It's Jesus, and he gives this bit of prophecy, but tying it back with a previous biblical character. He says, "For just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the sea monster, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." So indeed, the fact that Jesus was buried in the earth gives proof that he was the Messiah. Secondly, it also proves that he really indeed died, because of course that's a big question, or has been throughout time. Well, maybe this man really didn't die, therefore he didn't really resurrect, there was something squirrely there and he stayed alive. Except only truly dead men get buried, right? Think about it. We saw Jesus' body on the cross after his side was pierced with a spear. His dead body was prepared for burial. It was wrapped with spices and linens. And the fact that he was dead, and dead for 3 days, demonstrates that he paid the price for the wages of sin is death. So there's proof that our sins have been forgiven. And then thirdly, Jesus' burial proves that he was truly resurrected, right? Because only a dead person could be resurrected. Think about it. The tomb was in a known location. It was guarded by Roman soldiers. It was sealed with a giant boulder. Pilate had put his signet ring to it. Jesus wasn't in some mass grave. It wasn't some location where things were uncertain. There was no mistaking Jesus' body and where it was. And yet on Sunday morning, the tomb was empty, wasn't it? It became empty. All were forced to recognize that the miracle had taken place, even the soldiers, right? For we know that the angels came and removed the stone, and the soldiers were frightened like dead men, and they were out of there. And yet they all have to attest to the fact that he was dead in that tomb, but now the tomb is open and he is very much alive. He is not here, he is risen. He could only rise if he was indeed dead in the first place. 1 Corinthians 15:36, one that we've had recently in our messages on Sunday morning, says, "That which you sow does not come to life unless it dies." So, friends, on this Saturday in between his death and his resurrection, maybe just meditate on these truths and let them wash over you and let them amaze you. And the fact that Jesus' burial gives proof that he was indeed the Messiah. It proves that he really did indeed die, so that then it could prove that he really, truly resurrected. We look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow on Sunday as we celebrate his resurrection.